Jr. I serve as the operations manager for the City of Fort Myers Southwest Florida Enterprise Center. The Enterprise Center is a collaborative venue for entrepreneurs. We provide space as well as programming support for you to grow your business. Our space is currently under market value, so that's something we kind of push to those looking to start and grow their business. We also offer virtual offices and moving into some shared space. We're proud to partner with Nicole and NARAB on this project and future projects to equip you to be able to grow your business. One thing I always tell our entrepreneurs at our center is that sales is the most important thing about your business. So the idea of this supply diversity initiative is it positions you in a better place to increase the number of customers you have. On the side note, there's another logo on here. I'm the 100 Black Men of Southwest Florida. I serve also as their president. This is part of our 100 Business Initiative. Again, as we support businesses in the Southwest Florida area, Collier, Lee, and Charlotte, to grow all businesses, but specifically minority Black-owned businesses. We want to provide avenues like this to encourage you and help you expand your businesses. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you. All right, and then we also have Q Raphael. She is on the phone. She is a mover and shaker in our community, but she makes global waves. So Q, if you're able to unmute yourself and introduce yourself as well.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, my co-partners in crime, advancing our neighborhoods in ways that many people thought that it can't be done. And we are showing that we can come together and bring our community together to build our community. So everyone, my name is Q Raphael. Sorry that you cannot see me, but I got all dressed up ready and my camera is not working. So you're going to hear my beautiful voice. Just imagine, if you don't know who I am, you will soon know, because I will see you in person on February the 20th. But with that said, I am the president for the Southwest Florida Association of Realtors. And we are one chapter out of 120 in our main association, which is NARAB, the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. We were founded in 1947 in beautiful Tampa, Florida. And the initiative started out with democracy and housing. There we grew, and we have 6 pillars. And really quick, the 6 pillars are faith-based and civil engagement, our wire, women in real estate, diversity, inclusion, and small business. Hence why we're here today and collaborating on helping our small businesses grow. Focusing on generational wealth, where we reach out to our youth and help educate them, as well our veterans and our seniors. Number 5, our government relationships and advocacy. We need to be a voice in our community, and that is what we do. Our 6th one is fairly new, and that is Black men buy houses. So helping our generation, inspiring them, our Black men, to be able to get out and understand the real estate and become more investors. Because when we look at home ownership as a whole, our Black men are actually at the lowest percentage of home ownership or real estate ownership, period. So with that said, it's a great opportunity that we're together today doing this event, and our goal is to have 60 businesses all certified at one time. So if you know other people that should be on this call, tell them to register for our February 20th in-person event. And that is going to be sponsored by Fifth Third Bank, Tawana Green, and she's going to speak highly in regards to business loans and banking as well. So you don't want to miss that. So we have a wealth of information for you all. Thank you, Dr. Nicole King-Smith, for being our presenter today and bringing this valuable information. Thank you all.
Thank you, Q. And that is exciting. I put 60 businesses in there. Come on, Southwest Florida. We can do it. I know we can. So let's move forward as what we're going to be talking about today, um, as we kick off. So first and foremost, I want to share a little bit about why I'm very passionate about supporting this goal, especially in Southwest Florida. So first and foremost, I am the founder and owner of NK Enterprise Consulting. And this is actually my second business. My first business was King of Events. And what I do currently is I help organizations and businesses bridge those generational gaps as we have a lot of cultural shift going on in the workplace. But not only just organizations, but I also help individuals understand what it means to connect with the next generation because we all need to build those intergenerational relationships. But what got me passionate about today was when I was the first time I decided I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I started my event planning business. And in doing so, I was in the Tampa Bay area. And as I was connecting with other business owners and entrepreneurs, my first thought is I was excited about the idea. And then as I started moving forward, I was like, what the heck did I just commit to? And in the process, some of you may kind of feel the same way. It's like, okay, I know I'm great. I know I have my talents. Now, how do I apply it? How do I put myself out there? How do I bring in revenue? How do I position myself? How do I network and connect with people? And most importantly, how do I sell what I know is already great and good? And so one of the opportunities that afforded me when I was in my event planning business was someone pulled me aside and was like, have you ever thought about getting your business certified? And at first I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. What does that mean? And then at the time, what ended up happening was the Super Bowl came to town. And I was like, okay, I have an event planning business. I'm positioned, I'm ready to go. And the first thing that they said is, we will not do any business with anyone who is not a certified minority owned business. And I was like, oh my gosh, I remember that conversation. And so I scrambled real quickly and tried to figure out what that means. How can I make that happen? And how can I be an approved vendor to be able to gain access to some of those contracts and opportunities that was taking place? And that's really what kind of motivated me fast forward today. Now my second motivation is really I am a wife and a mother of a 3-year-old, and now I'm even more empowered. And some of you may relate to be able to spend more time with my family, being able to do things and really get my business and scale it to the next level so I can leave some generational wealth and opportunity for my daughter, but also bring a community together, just like Q was talking about, just like Martin was talking about. How can we now serve our community, create opportunities, collaborate, and build more revenue for all of our businesses as the community is shifting and things are happening? And so what we're going to be talking about, oh, my mouse is sensitive, is we're going to be talking about first, like, did you know? So I'm going to share some stats and some things with you about small businesses to kind of understand how communities all over are trying to help support and identify ways to be able to give money to us. And then I'm going to share with you a little bit, what is an MBE? We use MBE, but then we also use the word CBE interchangeably. So I will kind of share what that is. And then I'll also talk about what is the OCD, which is the Office of Supplier Diversity, and what does that actually mean, and how does that play a role in what we're talking about this evening. And then I'll also talk about opportunities, and then how do you qualify, and then what are going to be the next steps. So again, if you're not able to take notes, no worries. We're going to be recording this, and I'll make sure I send out a link to each of you so you can be able to watch the link. And then Martin, I'm just going to ask if you could help me with the chat. That'd be awesome. Thank you. So when we talk about, did you know? So when we think about small business, oh, you got mute. We'll mute. So when we think about small businesses, the biggest thing, and let's just be honest, what brings you to come to this webinar this evening and be a part of what we're talking about? So if you're able to throw it in the chat, what is your goal? What is it that you really want out of this evening's webinar? And what is it that you want to accomplish? Because when we think about what small businesses and why we do some of the things we do, the biggest thing is really how do we get access to funding? How do we get access to capital? How do we be able to sell our products and services? And what kind of opportunities are available to us? And the reality of it is, being small minority business owners, statistics, and these are statistics from 2024, they constantly show that we are using our own money to fund our business. And so what that basically means is we will save money and then we will utilize that to put in our business. And we know, as being minority business owners, a lot of those challenges come from trying to find opportunities to be able to fund our business and understand what that means. And we know anytime you go to borrow money, that means somebody is charging you a fee to be able to utilize that money. So we also have to understand how that works to be able to support us. Not only that, when we look at small businesses, we bring up a huge part of looking at the economic support. A lot of people depend on our small businesses and what we do to be able to operate their day-to-day needs. And so a lot of people are understanding that. And so what you're starting to see and what has been shown is that a lot of corporations have what they call supplier diversity programs. So at the federal government level, a lot of people don't realize that they actually contract out almost everything. So almost any products and services and things that they need, they're always looking for businesses to be able to supply those. And not only just the federal government, but you have private entities like Enterprise Mobility, Verizon, Google. So you have for-profit agencies and non-for-profit agencies that are always looking for businesses to partner with to be able to supply them with a product or service in their need. And so when we think about some of the challenges around small businesses, we also look at some of the opportunities. And the reality is, some of the bigger organizations are saying, how can I connect to these small businesses? And some of the small businesses like ourselves are saying, how can I connect to larger opportunities, contracts, and what can I do to position myself to do that? And so that's what kind of brings us here today, to be able to align those opportunities, especially in Southwest Florida, because more businesses are coming into the area and they're requesting to do business with our businesses. So what does that look like? So what is a CBE, MBE? You see me using these terms interchangeably. So an MBE is basically a minority business enterprise that is for profit. Regardless of size, location, it has to be in the United States, but basically you're a 51% owner of this business and you are of a minority. What qualifies as a minority is a minority women veteran-owned business, and minorities are classified in the categories of African American, Asian American, Latina American, Native American, and you have your veterans, then you have your women owned businesses. And I'll go over each of those categories in a moment. Now, what you hear is CBE is basically certified business enterprise. So what they've kind of done is, instead of saying minority business enterprise, they've said certified business enterprise. And we all know that sometimes there's been we know that there's been some controversy around certain language when it comes to minority-owned businesses. So you'll see the words certified business enterprise, which means that you have this designation and you qualify for this certification. Now, the other question is, what's the difference between an MBE and a DBE? And we're focusing on the MBE, but just in case you've ever heard what this terminology is, and if you've ever seen an opportunity where it's required, like we just discussed, the minority business enterprise applies to all state agencies and is administered by the Office of Supplier Diversity. Now, when you see a DBE, that's a disadvantaged business enterprise. So what a DBE is basically a for-profit independent business, but it says in order for you to qualify, you have to show that you're socially and economically disadvantaged. And again, you have to be 51% owner of the business in order to qualify to get that DBE designation. All right, so what is the OCD? So the OCD is the Office of Supplier Diversity through the state of Florida. And basically, it's through the Florida Department of Management Services. So what we have is we have a lot of agencies and entities that get funding. And part of that funding is to be able to help support special certain demographics of populations and entities. And so the Office of Supplier Diversity is one of those that is serving to be able to certify businesses to be able to create an opportunity for minority women and veteran-owned businesses. And so that's where you see the OCD is basically the name of the department or the agency called the Office of Supplier Diversity. They are also partnered with what's known the SBA, which is a Small Business Administration. And some of you may have heard these terms before, but basically that is a federal agency that has offices and entities throughout all the states within the United States. And their goal is to be able to support, track funding, be able to provide funding and opportunity to small businesses. Now, what about the certification? So what we are doing this evening in our focus, like you said, our goal is to get 60 businesses certified, and we can do it. And I know we can do it. And so what this means is this certification opportunity is free. And I will share, there's other entities out there that also offer certifications, but the one that we're focused on is going to be through the Office of Supplier Diversity. And it's basically an online application that you will go through. So what the purpose of tonight's webinar is to kind of explain to you the process, because we know, I know personally applying for this certification and helping others apply for the certification, that it can be a lot, it can be overwhelming. So we didn't want to just talk about how you can get certified. We're going to share with you at the end the opportunity for you to come, bring your laptops, and actually go through the application process step by step with you and help you get certified and approve and apply your application. Now, I've helped several business owners in the Fort Myers area and in other places be able to get their certification. So what I'm going to share with you first is the step to make sure that you qualify, what the checklist and the requirements are. And then when we talk about the next step, we have collaboratively made sure that when you come in person, we have everything there ready for you so you can be able to apply, do your application, and submit on site. So I'll go through all of that with you. And we also are going to leave time for questions as well. So why should you even get certified? What's the purpose? What's the reason? Why is it even important for you to get certified? Well, first and foremost, you may have heard a closed mouth doesn't get fed. So the reality of it is when you get certified, you not only have a designation that you can use, but you also get into a database. So what tends to happen is when people are doing business, they like to find out who's available to be able to do business with, who can I hire, how can I hire that person. So I like to joke back in the day, my dad used to say, hey, can you go grab the yellow pages? I need to find a plumber. And if we think about the yellow pages and we think about how thick the yellow pages was back in the day, some people may still use a yellow page, but if we think about how thick it was back in the day in all those businesses, it was one of those things where if you weren't in the yellow pages, then nobody knew to call you. So I kind of want you to think about it in that way is once you apply for this designation, you now become in a database where people know that you are available, you are ready to do business, and you're certified. The other thing is not only do you get access to be referred to other agencies, but you also not only get in a directory, but it opens up opportunity for you to connect on the local level throughout Lee County, Collier County, Glaze County, Henry County, Charlotte County, all the surrounding areas, but also throughout the state of Florida. So what that basically means is anybody can look you up and say, hey, I want to be able to contact this person or I want to be able to contact this business. Also, not only do you get access to contract opportunities, but there's going to be marketing event opportunities. And I'll have Martin kind of touch on that because there's actually one coming up in April in Southwest Florida and Lee County at the Collaboratory. And that's just one of the many examples of where you can show up, meet people, and be able to network. And we'll share more about that. So it basically gets you on another platform, a bigger platform to showcase your business. And the good part is you don't have to pay anything. So additional opportunities. So we talked about the marketing, but your access to state and local contracting opportunities. So what people don't know, and maybe you may be familiar with the SBDC, and I'll talk about them in a moment. But what you don't know is like there's all these entities throughout Lee County where you would need to apply as a business to become an approved vendor. And that's more on your government agency size or your local municipalities. But then also in your private sector side, there may be an opportunity, like, for example, Verizon, Xfinity, Google, Enterprise Mobility. So they may also have an application process for you to be able to submit your business and say, hey, I would like to potentially do business with you if the opportunity comes. So whether it's a for-profit or a local government agency, you have the opportunity to now position yourself to say, hey, I'm a business, I'm certified, I want to do business with you, and I want you to know that I'm ready to do business with you. And then there's a process to be able to do that. Also, there's networking and educational opportunities. So the number one way to grow your business and bring in revenue, no matter what industry you're in, no matter what your business is building relationships. There's just no way around it. So you get access to opportunities to build relationships, come to events, and really meet people that have a need and be able to show them how you can be a solution to whatever they need for you and them to be able to be successful. And not only that, but then there's financial opportunities. So we're not just going to talk about how you can get your certification, but we're also going to be bringing people to the table that either have access to grant money or have intentional access to opportunities for you as a minority-owned business or just a small business can apply to be able to get money. And the good thing about trying to apply for grant money is grant money, normally you don't have to pay the grant money back. So that is, as long as you meet the criteria, whatever that criteria is, then you're able to be able to get that money to be able to serve your business. So do I qualify? This is probably the most extensive part of tonight's conversation because this is the most important. First, we have to know if you qualify. So I will tell you, the most common question that I've been getting, and the frequently asked question that I've been getting is, do nonprofit organizations and agencies qualify? The answer is no for this particular certification. That does not mean nonprofit organizations don't qualify for any designation, but they do not qualify for this one. I have been researching to see if there are any agencies that may create a minority designation for nonprofit agencies, but as of right now, this one does not. So you have to be a for-profit business. Now I'm going to go through the checklist with you and kind of break down all the requirements. And we're going to go through that now, but I'm going to take a pause right quick. Does anybody have any questions? Are there any questions in the chat before I go down the checklist?
There are
All
no
right.
questions in the chat currently.
Okay. All right, so let's go through our checklist. So first and foremost, you have to be what's called a women-owned business, a veteran-owned business, or a minority-owned business. And the first thing is your business has to be registered with sunbiz.org. And basically, that is making sure that your business is registered and that you are an entity of the state of Florida and that you have successfully registered your business. It doesn't matter. You can be a sole proprietor, you can be a partnership, you can be a LLC, you can be a corporate entity, but all the businesses have to register through Sunbiz. You must be based in Florida. So your home base must be based in Florida in order to qualify. And then not only that, but your business has to be owned and managed by the residents of Florida. So that's just making sure that you qualify. And why is that important is because, for example, my brother moved to Georgia and he tried to get his certification in Georgia, and there's a whole different requirement. And you have to be a Georgia resident. There's all these different stipulations. So not every state has the same stipulations to be able to do this. You have to be 51% owned and managed by a woman, veteran, or minority who is a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident. And you have to currently be doing business. And I'll explain how you show that you have to be currently doing business. And then the first step is actually going to go to the My Florida Marketplace. I will actually show you the website and show you what that means to be able to do that. This is an overwhelming process, but it's not that hard. So if you have already done this, or you're like, okay, I've gone to the website and it's a little bit too much, no worries. That's why we're going to have our in-person session so I can actually walk you through how to register and how to make sure that you are entering all the accurate information. You have to have a net worth of less than 5 million. I think all of us qualify for that, but basically you have to have a net worth of less than 5 million and you have to have 200 or fewer full-time permanent employees. You also have to have a professional license if required by the industry. So, for example, if you have a lawn business, and there's a required certification, then you must be able to show that you have that certification. If you are if you do cosmetology, you have to show your cosmetology license. If you are not required to have a professional license for what you do, you are required to make sure that your business is registered with what they call the BTR, a business tax receipt. So that means your business is registered in the local municipality of maybe the city of Fort Myers, the city of Cape Coral, the city of Estero, Sanibel, Fort Myers Beach. Those are like Lehigh. Those are your local municipality areas, depending on where your business, or your business would be registered through the Lee County Tax Collector's Office as a Lee County business, unless you're in Collier County, Charlotte County, Henry County, Glades County, or any of the surrounding counties. But you would need to show that your business is registered with that county entity. Some businesses are required to have both. Some businesses are required to have one, but you will need to be able to show that business tax receipt license. And
And Nicole,
yes.
I'm sorry. Can you just
Nope.
confirm? We had a question that they don't need to be in business for a specific time, correct?
Nope, we're gonna go over that. You could have started your business a month ago and still qualify to be able to apply. And any of the license has to be in the name of the woman, the minority, or the veteran business owner. So whatever the name or the entity of the business, everything has to be in that name and that entity. All right, so the eligibility criteria. So a woman-owned business, like I said, African American, Asian American, Hispanic American, Native American, and a veteran or a disabled veteran are the category classifications that they are using to say that you are a minority-owned business. So as long as you fall in any of these criteria, you can fall in more than one. Like I am a woman, African American owned business. So when you go to actually apply, you can pick all that apply to you, but you have to at least qualify for one of these categories in order to be meet the criteria. So again, going back to the process, the first thing you have to do is you have to register. You cannot go forward with anything until you register at the My Vendor Florida Marketplace, and I'll pull up that website in a moment. And what that's going to do is basically it's the beginning of your application process to get you into the system. And part of getting you in the system is also going to not only show your business, but you're also going to be required to pick what they call commodity codes. So all your products and services are aligned with codes that they use as an identifier. And so we'll do that in person to kind of pick what that is. And then the next thing is we'll have to gather the necessary documents. So again, I'm going to go through the checklist of documents with you to make sure that you have everything. And then what we'll do is we'll have to scan your documents. So if for some reason you don't have a scanner or printer, no worries. What we can do is take a picture of the document and we can save it as a JPEG. And what that will do is that will qualify as long as you have a physical copy of the document to be able to show that. All right, so this is what the vendor information portal looks like. So when we say go to register, this is essentially a screenshot of what it looks like. So before you can go any further, what you'll see is you have to have your company name, you have to have your tax ID number. If you're a sole proprietor or a partnership, it may be your social security number, but you have to have your tax ID type, and that's how you begin your registration of going through the process. As far as the documentation checklist, I'm going to kind of quickly go through this. Do not look at this and be overwhelmed because this is just a checklist and you don't have to have every single thing in each of the box. So for example, if you are a minority and woman owned, you have to submit just one of these documents. So you have to show if you're certified through SBA, a birth certificate, and your birth certificate must have the ethnic designation on it. Or if you have a tribal registration, you could also use your passport, your foreign birth certificate, naturalization records, or you can also use a designation statement. But basically, you have to be able to use, if you have a passport, you can use your passport. Okay. And that's it for Section A. So just one of those documents. Section B, if you're a veteran, if you have a veteran business enterprise certification already, you can use that. Or you can use your DD 214 and your service disability letter if you have one. So again, for the veterans, you have to submit all of the following documents in order to qualify for the veteran status. Okay. And that's just for people that are veterans. If you're not a veteran, then B does not apply to you. For Section C, you only need one of the following. So your Florida driver's license, your voter's registration, or your homestead exemption if you own a home. So again, just having your Florida driver's license or your voter's registration will work for that. Okay. And that's all. You just need that one for Section C. And if you have a driver's license, check, you're already done with that. Now, this is for Section D when it says your articles of incorporation, your partnership agreement. So this is all of this you can actually get off of like your SunBiz. So as long as you're registered on SunBiz, then you can have your articles of incorporation. And we just take a picture of that and take it off of SunBiz. And then boom, you're done with Section D. If you have a partnership agreement, so if you have a contract agreement with you and someone else and you own a business as a partner, then we just need a copy of that. And that is it for that. Okay. For Section E, you only need one of these. It says a partnership agreement. So again, you can duplicate that. Payroll within the last 12 months or resume. So if you don't have payroll, which is fine, you can always use your resume. And it's just like a resume if you were going to go apply for a job, but your resume has to have your business on it. So you have to have that you work for yourself on your resume, but all it is just a regular resume if you were to go apply for your job, and that's the resume that would be required. All you need is one of those documents for Section E, and then you're done. Most people submit their resumes, unless you do have a payroll company, and you have people on payroll, then you're able to use that. All right, so with Section F, the registration from the Department of State, again, that's just your SunBiz. So once you show that you're registered, then we have your SunBiz. Business with fewer than less employees. So it says payroll within the last 12 months. If you do not have payroll, do not worry. I already have a letter that you would submit, and we would bring that letter. I already have the letter ready for you. So it's already typed up, it's already ready, and it says, I, the business owner of so-and-so, do not have payroll. I'm the only person within the business, or me and someone else is within the business, and that will work for that. So do not freak out if you don't have that. It also says net worth of no more than 5 million. So it's going to ask for financial statements. So like your profit and loss statement, or your last 2 years of federal tax returns. If you do not have that, that is okay. If you've been in business, it would be nice for you to be able to supply that information. If for those of you that have been in business less than 2 years, that's okay. I already have a document that says, hey, I've only been in business for this time. I don't have this. And then that would need to be notarized. No worries. We're going to have a notary on site when we do our February 20th workshop. So any documentations that need to be notarized, we've already got it taken care of for you, so you don't have to worry about that. We'll print out and have all those documents readily available for you if you're able to show up on February 20th. And same thing with Section G, I'm so sorry. A notarized statement of useful business. So this is just to show that you really are a business and that you are actually doing business. So again, if you have a quote, so if you have any client or anybody that you just did business with, if you have a receipt or anything that you just sent someone that you've done business with, you can be able to bring that. So a copy of an invoice, a copy of a contract for a client that you just did business with. If for some reason you're not able to provide that, no worries. There's a notarized statement of useful business purpose. I already have those printed out. You'll be ready to go when we have a notary on site that can be able to notarize that for you. And you only need one of those documentations. And then the last thing is the licensing, what I talked about earlier. So if you're required to have a professional license to do your business, you will need to bring a copy of that, or you can bring that and we can make a copy. If you have to have a occupational license, you'll need to bring that. Or you have to have your business tax receipt. And that's what I was talking about, either through Lee County tax collector or whatever county you reside in. And then you may have to have one for your local municipality as well. If for some reason there's no license required, then I have a form for that. But I will tell you that I have a consulting business, so I wasn't required to have a license, but I did get my first time that I applied, I got rejected because I didn't have my business tax receipt. So you definitely need to have a business tax receipt to be able to say that you do business. Okay. All right, so again, that may seem overwhelming, but in each section, unless you're a veteran, in each section, you only need one, no more than two documents. Um, and again, I can make sure that you get the link to this so you can be able to kind of double check the checklist. But this is really important because when we come together on February 20th, you will need to already have gathered your checklist. So you need to be able to go through your checklist before we get together, um, and be able to either have these documents either on a thumb drive, saved on your laptop, to be able to put the application together because you'll have to be able to show each of these documentations to submit your application. All right, so how long does all of this take? Well, once you actually get all the documents together, you get everything submitted, we can email them your application process, and then they will get back to you within, I think, 14 business days. I think it takes about 2 weeks. They will also get back with you sooner. So if for some reason something is wrong with your application, they'll get back to you sooner. And then they give you, I think, 7 days to be able to fix whatever is wrong and resubmit it. After that time frame, if for some reason you don't submit within that window, then you'll have to reapply all over again. You have to be clear and concise on everything. Everything has to align, whatever your business name is. If you're the owner, everything has to align with everything. They will not review your application unless everything is submitted all at once. So you can't submit a partial, everything has to be submitted all at once. Like I said, it takes 15 business days. And then once you get your certification is good for 2 years. When you go to recertify, you do not have to go through all of this process again. The recertification is a quicker process to be able to do that. This is a copy of one of mine that I got. So basically, it's on the state of Florida. This is my first one that I received for my business, and you'll have this. And then what you basically do is you'll keep this on record. So when you start to do business, you can also put a signature in your email, and then you can keep this certification on record. So anytime you go to apply to do business with other businesses, whether it be a government agency or a private agency, you can be able to submit your certification. So next steps before I open it up to questions. On February 20th, it says 6 to 8:30, but that's because we want to give people plenty of time. At the Southwest Florida Enterprise Center, we are going to come together in person. And so you need to bring your laptop and your laptop charger. We're going to have places for you to sit down, plug in, and go through the checklist. So I'll go through the checklist again with you. And then you need to make sure you have your documents. You don't necessarily have to physically bring everything. You will have to bring your license or your passport, especially because we'll be notarizing documents. But outside of that, you can either have a picture of things or you can have them saved on a thumb drive. I'm going to show you how to label each of those entities. So when you submit your application, it's basically going to be submitted in order to be able to do that. And I see some questions popping in the chat, so I'll answer that in one moment. Once you're certified, now what? There's a lot of entities within Lee County and the resources that are available. So you have the SBDC, which is the Small Business Development Center. You have SCORE. So what I'm basically telling you is you have access to consultants at your leisure whenever you can. There's offices downtown, there's offices at Florida Gulf Coast University, where these consultants will work with you in any specific area that you need, whether it's putting a business plan together, accounting, marketing, social media engagement. If you're a veteran, there's someone dedicated to veteran-owned businesses to be able to support you. So you have all this access and support. You also have the same thing with score.org. They also have an office downtown, and you have access to someone that will mentor you. All of these resources are available to you free. Then you have what's called the National Minority Supplier Development Council. That is a separate entity, but what they focus on is they also focus on certifying businesses. They have a different process. Their process also is a fee, but that's a national certification that you can get for a minority designation. And then you also have the Southwest Florida Enterprise Center. And so I'm going to take a pause for the cause for a moment and let Martin kind of share some of the opportunities through the Southwest Florida Enterprise Center and an event that the city of Fort Myers has coming up in April.
Thank you, Dr. King. She noted the Southwest End, we offer a lot of those services and we partner with a lot of those organizations. So SBDC, SCORE, they come to our facility, it holds workshops as well as mentor many of our tenants outside of those that also are tenants at the center. That's an option as well if you're looking for space. She talked about business tax receipts. Virtual offices are an alternative if you're not looking to rent. We offer that service as well at the Enterprise Center in relation to you ensuring you have your business tax receipt. Again, we're a connector. So one of the things we are operated by the city of Fort Myers. The city of Fort Myers started what they a diverse supplier diversity fair. So she noted the date in the beginning of April, and we'll share that with you all. The city is hosting their diversity fair. So this is an opportunity for you to learn about the different departments in the city and how you can work with the city. We know the city has a over $700 million budget. So excuse me, I'm lying. I'm sorry. They have a $300 million budget. I apologize. I don't want people get sorry. So they have a $300
Knock on
million
your door real
budget,
quick. They're like, you got
right? Yeah,
$7
I don't have anything. Um,
million.
our budget is less than 1% of that. But so the city has around a $300 million budget, a lot of which services that they need to use individuals like you may be on the call. The Salvage Fluent Enterprise Center, we contract out for services like this. We contract out for our cleaning services, for our lawn care, and other additional needs that come up. So having this opportunity could open up just not doors to the city of Fort Myers, but there'll be other vendors as well, different organizations that once now that you're certified, they're going to put you on a list and they're going to keep you up to date on different happenings and opportunities. And there's other opportunities as well with through other organizations. Both Nicole and I both sit on the Horizon Council Supply and Diversity Committee. With some upcoming opportunities we should be sharing as well soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. And then I put Google in here because so what it means to supplier diversity, a lot of organizations do what Martin just shared. It's not just the city of Fort Myers. Lee County does it. The airport does it. Lee County Public Schools does it. Um, there's a lot of entities that have opportunities for businesses such as yours, mine, to be able to partner with. And so that's where you kind of see small business supplier diversity not only just in your government agencies and municipalities, but also in your private sector. For example, Bank of America, and I'm sure other entities of banks. I've worked at JP Morgan Chase. I know they have an entity as well. So what they're basically saying is we want to be intentional about who we do business with. But in order to do that, you have to apply with our company so we know what you do and how we do it. And mostly the reason for that is because, like Martin said, that $3 million that he was referencing, it's for it's basically so you can get paid. If you want to get paid, you have to go through the process, and they call that a procurement process, or you have to go through the accounting process because the accounting process is the one that makes sure that you check all the boxes for them to be able to pay you. And that's really why you have to apply. It's not, don't think if I apply, oh, they're not going to accept me. No, the application process is because all of these entities have their own way of paying people, and you have to basically go through the process so they can make sure they send you a check. Or some of them pay via credit card. So if your business takes credit card, they'll ask you, hey, do you take credit cards? Sometimes they'll pay you via credit card. Sometimes they'll pay you ACH, where they'll deposit the money directly in your account, and or they may pay you via check. Um, all of it's great as long as it shows up in your bank account. So if you're happy, I'm happy. And so that's why I put Google here, because you can actually go to Google and submit your business as a small business supplier diversity. So a lot of businesses have their goals to be able to work with small businesses and supplier diversity. So the other thing that I wanted to share, is basically kind of go over any questions. I know on the flyer we said we have a date coming up in March. We just were able to solidify that date within the last 48 hours. So March 18th is going to be that date at 6 o'clock. So it's a three-part series. This virtual part, and I'm just going to stop sharing now that we're on the question part. Um, this virtual session was to kind of introduce you to the process and get you prepped and prepared and give you enough time to meet with us on February 20th. I did see if you cannot meet with us on February 20th, what I'm going to say is reach out to me privately, and I can see if I can do a virtual session with you and try to help you. I will say that will be it may be a little challenging, because the whole purpose of us trying to come together is so if you need any notarized forms, I can make that happen. So I am willing to help you in any way. The goal is to get you certified. That's the number one goal. So if I can help, if Martin can help, if Q can help, we're going to help make that happen. We're here to support you. The next thing is, again, to be able to come February 20th so we can actually walk you through the process step by step, support you, and get your application submitted. On March 18th, the goal is on February 20th and March 18th, but mostly March 18th, is to bring people together to show you how to get access to opportunities. People that can tell you where the money is, where's the grant money, how, who has a need, how can you supply that need, and that's the purpose of coming together March 18th. If you all are like, we love this and we want to help more businesses, then the goal is not to have February 20th the only time we're doing this. We hope to continue to do this multiple times throughout 2025. And once that momentum builds up, then we can create other dates for you to be able to come. Like Martin said, he partners with a lot of these entities. So if you have to do a one-on-one consultation with the SBDC or another entity to be able to help, again, we're here to help, we're here to serve you, and we'll find a way to make it happen if you want to get this certification. And then any other questions, you can throw in the chat or you can come off mute. Some businesses don't require a receipt. Is that okay? Yes. Now let me clarify. When you say some businesses don't require a receipt, you mean the way you do business with your clients, you don't necessarily have to give them a receipt, or you're talking about a BTR, a business tax receipt? And that's for Kai, if Kai's still on here. Are you on here, Kai?
He is.
Okay.
She's unmuted. I don't know. She can't hear us.
Okay. So if your business does not do receipt transactions with your clients, then you just have to fill out the useful business document that will be on hand. If for some reason your business does not have a business tax receipt to do business within the local municipality or the county municipality, that's another conversation that we can have offline.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, I can hear you. Hi, Kai.
Hi, sorry about that. I've been working. Yeah, so Lee County, they don't do business tax receipts for real estate. They do, I mean, obviously I'm licensed with the state of Florida, but they don't require it. So I just wanted to make sure that didn't throw me out.
It shouldn't, as long as you have a license to do business, and then I'm gonna lean on Q, because Q, you're a realtor. Do you have anything to add to that? Is Q still on here?
I think she signed off.
Oh, no, I see her. Okay.
But she got back on.
If you have a Kai, so if you have a license to do business in Florida, that should qualify because you just have to have a professional license. I will double, triple check, but I'm almost certain you're okay.
Thank you. Because I'm with the Enterprise Center, and that was one thing. But I stood in line for over an hour, and we talked to all the managers, and they're just like, we don't need to give you anything. So, yeah.
Okay,
Thank
And
good.
just to clarify, the city didn't wouldn't give you a BTR either.
No, they won't give you anything for real estate. It's not required.
Got it.
And I think I have that documented within the Enterprise Center. That's why I'm okay now with you guys.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna check. I got you.
Okay. All right, so I know this was a lot of information. I hope none of the information discouraged anyone because I've been able to help businesses. Literally, we sat down for a 2 hour period. We got everything situated, we submitted, and they were able to have their certification within 2 weeks. So that's why I'm here to help you. I've helped other businesses of all different situations, and that's why we're going to bring everything to you as like a one-stop shop. So we'll have everything ready. Like I said, we'll have a notary on site. As long as you can do your due diligence and go through the checklists and bring what you need, then I will do everything I can to make sure your application is sealed, good, and ready to go. And cute. She's back. I love it. Okay, do you have anything to add?
Okay, so I do.
Okay.
In terms of real estate, if you are operating your business as a solo agent, your license is not held as a broker, and you do not have a physical location, then you don't have to have one. But if you're a broker, you have a brick and mortar, then yes. And I don't know what's going on, but I'm on my phone now. So trying
I
to figure
see you.
out
And you
Zoom
look
on the
good. You
phone.
dressed up and you look so good.
See, I told you I did all this, and my laptop is not working right. But yes,
All right. Thank you, Christy. I'm so glad. I appreciate what you dropped in the chat. I'm so glad you all were able to attend. And I'm just going to stay on. I'm going to be respectful of everyone's time. So if you do have to hop off, I understand. There will be an email coming out. You'll have the date, you'll have the links to the documentation checklist, and then you'll have my information, Martin's information, and Q's. So in case you need to contact us for anything, let us know. But let's make history in Lee County, you all. Let's get these 60 businesses. This would be awesome. I'm tired of hearing businesses say, hey, we want to be intentional about doing business with minority owned businesses. And then they're like, we don't know where they are. They don't exist. We know they exist. They're here. They're on the call. Let's make it happen. Tell everybody, let's get certified and let's get access to Martin's $3 million that he that he knows about. So yes,
ab- absolutely. Can you do one more thing for me, please?
absolutely.
Can you please repeat that with the current administration and some of the dialogue and things of that nature being changed,
Yes.
is this going to affect anyone that is going through this process currently?
As of right now, it has not affected the process or any minority businesses getting certified. The more research I have done on some of the executive orders that have been signed, They also said that if anything does take effect, it normally will not take effect until another year. Again, all of that right now is just speculation. So as of right now, the process is still open for people to apply. They are still certifying minority-owned businesses. And as of right now, nothing has changed to be able to stop businesses from getting their certification.
All right. So let's hit our number of 60 businesses. Join us February the 20th and listen to Ms. Green with Fifth Third Bank. And she is going to also help you all with your business accounts and getting that started as well. So thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, 100 Black Men, Enterprise Center, and you, Miss Lovely Dr. King Smith.
Thank you. Thank you. Everyone have a great evening. We're going to send out the recording. I'm going to load it and make sure you have the link. So let's go. Let's do it. I'm here. Let's make it happen. Have a good evening. Thank you for your time this evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye for now.